Hello, everyone. My name is Snigdha Chennamaneni. Welcome to the first episode of Meet Your ACS Greater Houston Section Leaders. I have with me today Dr. Crystal Young. Crystal is an associate professor at the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at the University of St. Thomas. She teaches organic chemistry and advises undergraduate students. Crystal serves as the chair of the ACS Greater Houston Section and also as the student advisor of ACS Student Chapter at University of St. Thomas. Thank you very much for being here with us, Crystal.
Thank you for having me.
So, Crystal, how long have you been working at UST?
I actually started working at the University of St. Thomas in August of 2014, immediately following my PhD defense at the University of Houston. I'm actually originally from College Station, Texas, which is where I received my BA in chemistry with a minor in education in 2008. And I don't bleed maroon like most Aggies, but I think it was an excellent community to grow up in with a really strong focus on education.
That's interesting. So what inspired to join University of St. Thomas academics?
I really fell in love with teaching in graduate school. My friend worked in the financial aid department at UST, or I wouldn't have even known it was there. I think the joke back then was that UST was the best kept secret in Montrose. Hopefully that isn't the case anymore. I knew I wanted to stay in Houston, and there just happened to be a tenure track position for an assistant professor in organic chemistry. So it was my first real job, but it's turned out to be a perfect fit. I love the opportunities that come with teaching at a small school and working with undergraduates to do research.
Interesting. That's awesome. And yes, University of St. Thomas is not a secret anymore, especially not for our GHS local section members, because in the past few years, we have had several events like monthly seminars, our regular board meetings, networking events, and also career fairs for the benefit of local section members at University of St. Thomas. It's a whole different story in the current pandemic situation, though, with social distancing rules. How has the current COVID situation impacted your daily work routine in terms of lectures or labs and so on?
Yeah, well, I'd actually prepared to do remote lecturing as far back as the fall of 2018 in order to spend some time with my mom in the hospital. I use online learning system and integrated technology lecture hall in the Center for Science and Health Professions to continue to lecture from College Station, so my students could still attend class in the same room as usual or online if they preferred. So I was more prepared than most to make the transition to online lecturing. Mm-hmm. But lab was a different story. There wasn't really enough time to make a meaningful transition to a virtual lab experiment. So since we had already completed a majority of the laboratory experiments, I felt that it was better to simply cancel the remaining weeks than to try and shovel more work on both my students and myself during the crisis. So we're currently investigating contingencies for virtual labs in the fall. And you'd think with less time spent commuting and less labs to teach, there'd be a great deal more time in my schedule, but it just doesn't seem to be the case. Something about quarantine just saps my energy and my motivation. And I don't think that this is unique to me, but I try to be open and honest about it so others know they aren't alone. Trying to make everything the same just isn't possible. This is a traumatic experience, and I try to show a lot of grace for my students and myself because of that.
I totally agree with you, Crystal. The current pandemic situation has taken a toll on everyone's life, especially the students. So what's your advice for graduating students and the young professionals who are feeling especially uncertain about their future in current situation?
First and foremost, I'd say be kind to yourself. This is really hard. It's not just you. Set alarms on your phone, create events on a calendar. I wouldn't tell you to get up and make your bed first thing in the morning and attend classes or meetings in appropriate attire, because I don't do that. And I don't want to be a hypocrite. This is the first time I've gotten properly dressed in days. But reach out to others for help. And if you don't know what you need, that's okay. You can just be honest. If you can help others, it will definitely help you. Make a mask for a friend, deliver groceries for some of the vulnerable people in your life. Find a way to make an impact, not just for impact's sake, but for your own well-being, and really take advantage of your networks during this time. As a recent graduate, you still have access to your school's career services department, or professors have a developed network ready for you to tap. And of course, there's the ACS. As members, you have access not only to the national services like ChemIDP and personal career consultants, but also our local section offers many opportunities to serve and participate, like at our upcoming virtual networking event the last week of June. And feel free to check out our YouTube channel for great videos like Curtis Wisher's talk on career management during uncertain times.
Oh, that's a great advice, Crystal. Be kind to yourself and ask for help. Reach out to your professors, mentors, as Crystal said, and also to the Greater Houston section leaders. We're all here to help. Basically, in this uncertain times, we are here with you. So Crystal, tell us about a little bit more about your involvement with the Greater Houston local section.
I actually started volunteering with ACS-GHS as a director in 2017. I chaired the education committee and organized and administered the scholarship exam for hundreds of chemistry high school students in the Greater Houston area. I continued that role when I became counselor in 2018 and started attending national meetings to vote on society business. And in 2019, I became chair-elect, which is a 3-year term. And I started learning the ropes under my chair, Snigdha, and began running the programming committee, which involved organizing speakers and planning summer social, and stepping up to facilitate the executive board meetings, which helped me transition to this year to assume the role of chair, which has been a really interesting year to be chair. I host a lot of virtual meetings and oversee the organization and subsequent cancellation of a lot of things we had planned to do, but also a lot of exciting things that are new and that I hope are going to be valuable and impactful for the Greater Houston section.
Definitely, Crystal. I agree with you. It's to put it in a way, it's definitely a strange year to be a chair, but you have transitioned very well into the new normal and brought all the board members with you as well. And you have done a great job as chair like last year too, in organizing several events and also increasing the local section member participation. So Crystal, how has ACS-GHS impacted your life, like starting from grad school till now?
Well, I really only have a job because of the ACS. I began attending meetings as a graduate student to present my research. And in the beginning, it was more of a fun vacation than a serious career event for me. Of course, as I matured and graduation grew nigh, I started taking full advantage of the opportunities that national meetings had to offer, like seminars on how to land the job and information sessions on chemical education and networking, and more networking. But then when I returned to Houston, I actually attended an event hosted by the local section, and it was called How to Get a Job in Industry. I didn't want a job in industry. I actually already knew the job that I wanted, and it was at the University of St. Thomas. But what was really interesting about this event is it was taking place at UST. And so even though I wasn't particularly interested in the topic, I thought, well, I bet I could meet the UST ACS representative if I show up a little bit early. And sure enough, I did. He was there setting up the computers before the event, and I was able to chat with him about the position. He said, "Oh yeah, I haven't seen your application." And I said, "Oh, really?" And that was heart-wrenching for me because I thought I had been doing everything just right. I had applied and I followed up with the application committee, or what I thought was the application committee. It was just the secretary who said yes, they were doing their job. But I got lost in the shuffle, and the ACS representative for UST gave me a little tour after the event and showed me the labs, and just basically my heart's desire, just, oh, it would have been perfect to work here. Now I don't have this chance, and everything's ruined. And at the end, he said, I spoke with the chair, and if you can submit your application materials before 5 o'clock today, then we'll look at your application. And I was elated. You never get a second chance at a first impression. So I took it. I fixed a few last minute things and sent my application on. And the next day I had a call to schedule an interview the following week, and I had the job the week after that. So it really was only because I had gone to this ACS-GHS event that I met the person that I needed to get my resume in the hands of the right people to get the job.
Wow, that's very interesting, Crystal. Landing in your dream job through networking at an ACS local section event. That's awesome. ACS does offer several services to our members, especially for professional development. I think one of the events that you've attended is similar to that, like career consulting services, resume writing, and networking events, in addition to many others. So we definitely should take advantage of all the ACS services. So what advice do you have for our listeners who'd like to get more involved with the local section?
I would say show up. It's kind of weird advice right now, but when we do have events, virtual or in person, come. We have board meetings each month. They're open to all members. You can attend virtually to see what we're doing as a section and get connected with people who are doing some really tremendous things in the greater Houston area. We're planning some virtual programming coming up that I really hope will be successful the last week of June. And you can check our website, social media, sign up for the newsletter, and actually read it. And we have a really excellent communications team, and they're working really hard to make sure you know how to get involved.
Yes, absolutely, Crystal. Our communications team is wonderful. And that's great advice, especially just to show up at the events. But now, as you have said, it's COVID situation. So the best chance would be to attend our virtual networking event, which is coming up in June. The last week of June, we'll have more information on our social media. So your viewers can check that out and be there virtually to network with your colleagues in Greater Houston area. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today, Crystal, and sharing your journey with our viewers. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.